Now before you continue, you can put grease at the end of the shaft and insert your bushings, and they have to face this way. This is going to help to hold the bushing on the shaft when you're moving around in there. Now insert the whole thing in like that. If a washer falls off, don't worry, just put it back on later. You want to insert the end of the shaft with the bushing and the sprocket inside the chain here like that. Now you want to slide everything forward. You can adjust the hook here by moving the gear shifter. And I'm going to reinstall the washer at the bottom here. Now with your bushing securely in place on this side and the bushing securely in place on the other side, and with your washer there, you can move forward and install this in the groove. Make sure you've got the washer underneath here. What you can do is, if you're having a hard time with this, you can take off the bushing here. This will give you more play in the shaft here. Or you could remove this bolt and pull the shaft out so that this doesn't obstruct the friction wheel when you're putting it in. The reason why I didn't remove this shaft is because sometimes it can be seized on the sprocket, and I don't need to remove it to do it. It is easier if you do remove this shaft, but you may have a hard time getting it off and back on. So what I've done here is I've lined up the washer at the bottom. I'm going to insert that in there like that. It's going to go right into the groove. Now I've got my washer on top here, and I'm going to line it up with that and just push it in like this. And once you've got it in there and in here, just push and make sure both bushings are at the end of the shaft, and they are. Now you want to reach in, grab the bushings and line them up to the holes here so we can bolt them on. Try to get these on as soon as you can so that nothing falls out of place. Now I'm going to line up the bushing on this side and put the bolts in. Now make sure you tighten these up really tight. And don't forget to tighten up the other side as well. Now you want to put the shaft back in the hole over here. And I'm going to reinstall the E-clip. Want to make sure that that's really secure. Now if this spring came undone, you hook it back into the bottom and into the hole right here on the shaft. So that's how it goes. Now I've got a rag here with some clean gas, straight gas, and what I'm going to do is clean off any grease that may have gotten on the friction wheel and disc during the installation. To move this out of the way, just move the gear shifter, then you can clean there. Look at all the dirt that came off. You can also turn over the motor, and this will turn the disc. Grab your rag again in a clean area with gas to clean the friction disc here. Turn the wheel axle, and it's going to turn it. So now that that's done, I'm going to put a small film of grease on the shaft here where the friction disc slides. Literally just put a film, because if you put too much it's going to splatter and hit these parts and then it's going to slip. So turn the wheel over to turn the shaft and do both sides. Move the gear shifter back and forth. And what that will do is make sure the grease gets spread all over the shaft evenly. You may also want to lubricate your chains. And I'll do this chain over here as well. Now before you install your wheels, you can put oil on the shaft. This will prevent rust and it will also prevent the wheel from seizing on the shaft. When you put the wheel on, turn it like this. This will spread the oil everywhere. And on this side, just line up the holes and put the linchpin in. This side here, you got to slide the bolt in and tighten up the nut. And now you want to line up the grooves on the belly pan to the 4 bolts here. And remember, the lip goes on the outside. And you want to get these little notches inside the grooves there. So now tighten up all the 4 bolts and you're done. Once you've got the cover back on and the bolts tightened up, it's time to try out your machine to make sure everything works good. Now you can see we're getting snow today. It's Friday, November 5th, and this is the first real snow we get. We had a bit fall last week, but nothing like this. I'm going to take it outside and start it up. So the drive works really good now. What I was doing there is testing just how good the drive is by holding the blower and making the wheels spin. If they spin, then I know that the friction wheel system is working perfectly. When it starts to go, what happens as soon as you put a bit of pressure on the wheels, it slips inside the transmission, and then you know you have a problem. That's exactly what was going on before I replaced the friction wheel on this one. So I'm just going to put it away now, and she's ready for the winter. So I'm back in where it's warmer now. If you're wondering what the part number is for the friction wheel disc, it's part number 538830 or 313883. The best thing to do is bring your old part with you to the small engine dealer and match up the holes here and the disc, and you know you've got the right part. Thanks again for watching. I'll be posting as many snowblower repair videos as I can this winter. If you have any requests, send them to me. Can't guarantee that I'll get to all of them, but it's going to give me an idea as to what people need to know. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.